Let's see. Not live yet. I don't think I'm live yet. Let's make sure. Okay, we're live. Alright, okay, so let me just take this copy link, let's add it into the Telegram group chat. And then we'll get into the DXY and breakdown. So let's add it in here. All right, I'm live reviewing Okay, I'm live reviewing the DXY and other pairs from today. So let's get into it. Let's keep it nice and simple. So today we're just going to go over what happened on the DXY today, and we'll also look at what my expectations were and what price actually did, and all the key levels that I've been paying attention to. So okay, we'll start quickly on the daily. Well, we'll start on the weekly. So essentially, as you can see right now, we basically was trapped. Well, we were respecting this weekly balanced price range on the weekly, and price has clearly respected that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times it's respected this, and we haven't closed below the mean threshold of this. Not even once, right? Even when we had the rate cut announcement, we swept out the key low here on the weekly, and we still didn't close below it, right? So, and another thing to note is that we've got all this low resistance liquidity, right? This low resistance liquidity or weak highs is basically highs that didn't take out any of the previous highs. So as you can see, this high is lower than this high, which is lower than this high, which is lower than this high. So that basically is all low resistance liquidity, right? In short. So we've got all that low resistance liquidity, and we're respecting this weekly balanced price range after sweeping this low. So on the daily, right, initially at the beginning of the week, my bias was exactly the draw on these highs because they seem so obvious, like a magnet on price. And then if I drop the daily levels on and take that weekly level off, then on the daily, well, another thing was quickly is on the weekly that we closed above that balanced price range right here. We closed above it on the daily. And so to me, that was like, right, it looks like we're going to start heading higher here again and start maybe come back down and respect it and push higher towards these low resistance highs. But actually, price basically on Monday closed right back below that weekly balanced price range. So I was unsure after Monday. So Monday initially my bias was higher. Then after Monday I was not that sure. I knew that here on the daily we had this balanced price range, but I was not sure whether if we're disrespecting that weekly balanced price range, are we going to see price come all the way lower here? But now obviously after Tuesday and Wednesday we've got a lot more information, so hopefully Thursday and Friday will be a bit easier to trade. So if I drop down to the 4 hour, this is basically what we got today. So yesterday you can see, let me drop on the daily separators so we can see clearly what's happened on what day. So this was today. So as you can see, overnight, basically, what time was that? Late Asia session? Or just before Asia session yesterday, we swept out this 4 hour week low below this 4-hour week low, right? We swept it out this morning. And so initially, right, because on the high time frame, I didn't have a strong bias, especially after we closed below that weekly balance price range. I was looking for this week high at least, and potentially this week high. And like I just said, they're weak highs because they failed to take out the previous high. So this would be a weak high, right? Where basically this high failed to take out the previous high, which is here. And a strong high would be when price basically puts in a high and then takes out that high and pushes lower. Now that's a strong high because we took out this high before. So weak highs are easy draws on liquidity, basically. So today, my bias was essentially after we saw Asia take out this 4-hour swing low underneath this 4-hour week low into this daily balance price range, right? This purple box is the daily balance price range, right here. My bias was at least we'll see a move to internal range liquidity, right? From this external range liquidity, we ran the low, we ran this low. Now I was looking for at least price to run to some internal range liquidity. I didn't expect it to go this high because honestly, I was like not quite sure on what price was going to do. Were we going to basically do this, right, where we run up higher and then have a market structure shift and then push lower, right? Was that what we were going to do and see potentially the left side of this market maker sell model, right? So this would be the smart money reversal, original consolidation. Were we going to see that and price come down to this low? I didn't actually know. Or, now what it looks like is we have a market maker sell model here, which was the original consolidation up here. And then we had a smart money reversal right here. And then we didn't offer any sort of like entry here on the right hand side, on at least the 1 hour, and we targeted them equal highs. So after we swept that 4-hour week low and this also 4-hour week low, this one right here was confirmation to me, like, right, we swept the low below the low, which is a double sweep. And then we displaced clearly above this fair value gap right here. And so I was like, right, for me personally, this morning, what I was looking for was basically a sweep of this low into this 1 hour fair value gap right here. So bullish fair value gap. I was looking for a sweep of that low into this bullish fair value gap and then run to the internal range liquidity. Now price never offered that and literally just straight up ran. So after we got the Asia manipulation, you can look for some sort of London entry. So price manipulated just before Asia, but to me, I still consider that Asia manipulation. And then I was looking for some sort of London continuation from the fair value gap left behind, but we didn't get that. And instead we've had a very large day today. So let's have a look at the daily range meter. So the average daily range over the past 5 days has been 5.86. 0.586. So let's have a look. Today we ran 0.734. So massive day today. Quite overextended as well from today. And not to mention we've hit all the draws on liquidity. We hit this week high, the original consolidation week high, if that's what you want to call it. This, I think on the 4 hour, these 4 hour relatively equal highs, right? Let's get rid of these vertical lines. We hit these. So it'll be interesting to see tomorrow, large extension, key levels hit. Are we going to have some sort of retracement here? I'll probably look to trade. Yeah, 1:30. I probably won't trade Asia or London tomorrow because of such a large move today, and I'll look to trade post the news at 1:30. But essentially, now it seems much clearer to me that price is likely, unless, you know, it seems like, let me just, before I even say anything, let me just make sure that what I'm saying is actually what I believe. So if we close above this weekly fair value gap, it would seem to me, after respecting this daily balance price range, that we're going to run out these equal highs, right? Now, one thing I am skeptical of is if potentially if this is just a run on these daily weak highs, but because of like the balance price range and this daily balance price range as well being respected after this large sweep on the weekly, and also this low resistance liquidity, it seems higher probability to me that we're going to run towards these equal highs. It just seems higher probability. That doesn't mean it's going to happen. And it doesn't mean it's like, whatever I expect to happen doesn't have to happen. But it seems like probabilistically, we're seeing bullish PD arrays now being respected, right? And we've got equal highs above. So it seems like logical that that's the next place we're going to go. So yeah, today's expectations, to be honest with you, was like nothing crazy. Like I couldn't call really whether we're going to go lower or whether we're going to go higher, but it's not necessarily about calling those large moves. I did have a strong bias this morning that we would see from this low, and then around London session at 2, we had this weak low here, this bullish fair value gap, and we swept, well, we had one sweep, and then we had a double sweep of these weak lows into this balanced price range, which is this purple box right here. It seemed obvious to me that we would see some sort of manipulation into that and then a run higher to this week high and this week high. And then after that, I wouldn't care what was happening on the day because I didn't have a bias on what was going to happen. So after we hit those levels right here, I was pretty much, at what time was this? At 5. So that's the end of London. At 5, pretty much all targets met for the day for me. I checked again during New York Open, but price was very overextended when I checked at about 1:30. So if I look at 1:30 around here, price was very overextended, right? We had the Asia low of the day. We had London continue higher right here. And then we hit all the draws on liquidity. And then during New York Open, we also hit these equal highs and this swing high. So at that point, it's like, right, there's no trade for me today because all my draws have been met. So it's a bit difficult to trade at the moment. Like I naturally had the bias that DXY is going lower because of the cutting interest rates, which essentially means like foreign entities or like, I don't know, hedge funds or whatever, like foreign countries, like they're going to take their money out of the dollar and invest it somewhere with a higher interest rate, especially if the US starts cutting their rates. But that's just one of many factors that influence the price. So a note that I made for myself this week was don't allow like the large fundamentals to affect your lower time frame trading. Yes, it's good to have like the fundamentals align with your weekly and your monthly bias, right? But when it comes to trading like the 1 hour, the fundamentals aren't really going to make that much of a difference for intraday moves or day trading. So I had like a bit of a bearish bias naturally, but then I had to like take myself out of that and be like, all right, hold on. The 1 hour is probably not going to be affected that much, intraday movements. So yeah, the 4 hours. So let's do a quick summary. Let's not keep it going for too long. So these equal highs have been met right here. Now I want to tidy up my charts a little bit. So we'll delete that. What else is important on here? So we'll get rid of this. Yep. I'm going to get rid of that because that was a while ago. So I'll also get rid of this one. So now we cleared up the charts a little bit. So, you know, my next kind of, if we like close above this high or, and we close above this balanced price range, my next draw on liquidity is going to basically be this 4-hour rejection block. So we got the start of the rejection block, then we got the midpoint, and then we got the high. So we'll see how price works. If price wants to work its way through that, right? And then also these weak highs here, right? This is a weak high, this is a weak high, this is a weak high. So these will be the draws. Now, as always, like my bias is open to being changed 100%. Like if something happens, my bias can change. But so this is not like set in stone, but this is what I have for the time being. So we'll see. I mean, we've overextended on the day. So we'll see what price wants to do tomorrow. Is it going to consolidate? Is it going to kind of pull back a little bit here into this larger range before continuing higher? We'll have to see. And I'll check again in the morning before London. But yeah, today basically no trade opportunity. Was anticipating this move from this low to this high. And then after that, you know, price obviously kept running higher. So for me, not really much notes today, except just like, well done for being patient, not rushing in. I had a plan didn't come to fruition, so I didn't trade. I think I will get rid of all this stuff as well, just because it's the lower time frames. Let's keep it just the higher time frames. So yeah, that's about it really for today. And let me know if you want me to do more of these daily reviews, where I just kind of go over the charts, go over what I expected, and if it could have been improved in any way, because that defo just rambled for 15, 20 minutes. Let me know, you know, if you find it useful, if you want me to do these more often, because I kind of want to start doing them daily, just so I have like a log of what kind of lessons I learned, mistakes I made, how I internalized the charts that day, or if I did it wrong or whatever. I guess YouTube is a good place to log it all. So that's about it for the video. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.